How'd you get to know your neighbors? When you bought a house, okay, or you rented a house, you finally moved to a neighborhood. First time I've lived in a neighborhood since I was in high school. You know, I graduated from high school, went to college, then moved to Washington, D.C., lived in apartments. I've lived in apartments for like 20 years. First time I lived in a neighborhood, you guys all know I bought a house with my hubby and my little 4.5-year-old and baby on the way. So I live in a neighborhood. Like, did you bring your neighbors a gift? Did you just go knock? Like I rolled up on both my neighbors on each side, said hello. One's like an older chick, lived with her sister. Okay, we're talking spinster, real sweet. But they both seem to like keep to themselves. But there's a lot of neighbors up and down the street. So how did y'all meet your neighbors? Did you bring them a gift? Did you have like a party and invite him in? You know, Shmano, he wants to turn our garage into like a dojo and a like a bar for the guys. So I need some advice. Like, should I bring them a gift? People so far seem a little keep to themselves. I don't know. Welcome in, Frasiacs. It's TSFS. I'm your host, Sarah. Love that you're here. For those of you that are new, maybe you found me from the Christine Brown Woolley interview. I do a daily pop culture podcast, and I talk a lot about TLC shows. Welcome to Plathville's red hot right now. Christine Brown Woolley's book is not slowing down whatsoever. And Sister Wives is returning September 28th. Plus, we all have to watch Cody Brown, Sink or Swim, September 25th on Fox's Special Forces. So there's a lot of TV to watch. A lot. Today, we're going to get into Easter eggs that have apparently been dropped in Christine Brown Woolley's books. Did you catch them? Do you think they're Easter eggs? I don't think they're that big of Easter eggs, okay? I don't think Christine Brown Woolley is the Taylor Swift of the author world. Okay. I didn't think there were that many. Now later this week, I'm halfway through the book. I'm going to do a whole recap on the book. A lot of things surprised me. And we'll get into all the details. So later this week, Friday, full recap of the book. What I liked, what I didn't like. She's already working on a second book, she says, about how difficult monogamy is with David. Who knew? She loved polygamy because you're basically independent. Cody just rolled around when the cameras were on. So there you go. So we'll get into Easter eggs. On top of that, you know I do cover a lot of Bravo. And we do have a lot of Real Housewives of New Jersey updates. We obviously are getting very close to a big announcement. David Yontif, who I co-host with twice a week on this show, and we've predicted this for a while, but we do think there will be a big announcement about RHONJ, the cast, the show at BravoCon, which is coming right up in November. I'm not going, you know, I'm pregnant. I'm not on bed rest, but I'm on like rest, right? Because I had this subchorionic hematoma, which I actually think is healed. But I go next week to my doctor, so I'll give you a full report. So I'm not going to go. I'm going to be broadcasting like nonstop. A lot of the people I know are going. Heather McDonald, our girl from Juicy Scoop, she's going to be there. My friend Virginia, she's got a podcast, so she'll be there. So we'll have a lot of, I think Jordy Cray, who I love on social media, he'll be there. So I'm sure we'll check in with him, find out what some of the panels are like. It's such a fun experience. I went 2 years ago. Really was great. But too much running around, too much. I just don't want to, I don't have to feel like I have to be on that much. Okay. So we do have some Jersey things we're going to get into. And then we have some general pop culture stuff that is happening. A woman who's getting just ridiculed on the internet, who basically says she's too hot to get a job. You have to look at her photo. And did you ever know anyone? Okay, I knew a woman who used to play Publishers Clearinghouse every week of her life. And I do think she won several things. I mean, not major, but things like toasters and like an oven, like a washer dryer, like bitch won some stuff. Okay. Do you know anyone that had won Publishers Clearinghouse, which was legendary if you are like a 90s kid, an early aughts kid? They were nonstop infomercials to play Publishers Clearinghouse, and you could get a check for life. Did you realize that Publishers Clearinghouse just this past spring has declared bankruptcy? And these people who thought that they were winning like $5,000 a month for life are shit out of luck. Like all of their lottery winners are toast. Like they can't. What? You build this for 25 years, 24/7 on TV. People quit their jobs because they're like, okay, great. I'm getting whatever, $5,000, $10,000 a month times, 12, $120,000 a year. for the rest of my life, only to find out, honey, they can't make the payments. It's over. What? It's true. It's the freaking truth. Okay. So let's start where we always start, which is Sister Wives, which is such a great place to start. Did you guys feel, if you've read Christine Brown Woolley's book, and every time I talk about it, people go, what's the name of the book? It's called Google. Okay. That's actually not the name of the book, but I'm saying to you, like, Google it. It's Sister Wives, a memoir about faith, family, finding freedom. But people go, you never say that book name. I'm saying the goddamn book name. I just figured most of you know how to go to the internet, search, the search bar, and type in Christine Brown Woolley new book. Boom, you'd see it. There it is. You can get it on Amazon, all right? Because apparently some people that listen to my podcast are completely lost as to where you could purchase this. I'm like, but I mean, in all fairness, I just found out the other day that Barnes and Noble still exists, and there's still like open Barnes and Nobles across the country. I thought they completely closed house. All right. So here's what fans are saying are some of the biggest Easter eggs in Christine Brown Woolley's first memoir. Okay. Again, I do not think she's the Taylor Swift of Easter eggs. I just don't. I don't think there's like that much here, but let's get into it. Okay. In talking about Thanksgiving before Robin, she said Cody loved Mary's turkey. So a lot of people like find the innuendo. They're saying that these are the biggest Easter eggs of it. Dropping the phrase a knife in the kidneys, not in relation to the breakup. She does that in the book. So she throws that line in there. People are saying like Easter egg. How you were meant to wear garments even under a wetsuit when we clearly saw that neither Cody nor Robin did on their honeymoon. So basically taking a jab at how, Cody wanted them to wear traditional Mormon garments. She talked about that when they were first like together and hooking up. All the mentions of how the OG 13 were tough kids who roughhoused with each other in contrast to Robin's sensitive kids. Okay, so people are describing that as an Easter egg. Saying that Robin had been a monogamist in her first marriage in contrast to Robin calling herself, quote, a first wife in the first book. After saying that busy moms have no time for eyeliner, she noted that Robin was always camera ready. So a lot of people are calling these Easter eggs. There's two more that fans agree they think these are the biggest Easter eggs of the book. Robin asking Tom Gibbons. Now, Tom Gibbons is the original producer of Sister Wives. He's the guy that brought it to TLC and sold the show. To be careful of what they filmed of her so that people would like her, meaning Robin. And then lastly, referring to Robin's dress as the one true dress, like their church called their religion, the one true religion. Fans are posting this online on my social media and on chat sites and are saying, did we miss any? Because these seem like some of the biggest ones. So there you have it. There you go. If you thought those were some of the biggest Easter eggs, you're not alone. Other people say those are the biggest ones. Again, I'll be giving my full review of the book later on this week. I gotta say, halfway through, I do think it's pretty great. I easy read. She gives more detail. A lot of people have said to me, wait, she's way more sympathetic and nice to Robin and Cody than she should be. All of them are. Look at Mary. Look at Janelle. I actually think of all of them, Janelle is the harshest critic of Cody and Robin. Like I actually think Janelle is the one that's like the most on. I do. It's very interesting. Okay, let's talk about Real Housewives of New Jersey, right? Real Housewives of New Jersey, a lot of buzz coming out. Danielle Cabral, obviously one of the former cast members, was on the red carpet of the VMAs. Did you watch the 2025 MTV Video Music Awards? Who is... if anybody watched, please go to my YouTube, go to my TikTok. Tell me that you watch. I don't believe for 1 second anybody watches that shit anymore. There's no way. I scroll through Daily Mail to look for like the worst dressed, and that's all I could care about. I don't even know how they still put this production on. Okay, well, one of the things that's actually making headlines is, Real Housewives of New Jersey cast member, former, we don't even know if she's coming back, although she kind of alludes to it on the red carpet, says that Bravo fans are going to be getting some answers about RHONJ a lot faster than they think. She stopped by talking to Page Six on the red carpet of the VMAs, where Page Six pressed her about what to expect from the reality show returning, including who and when. They're putting the pieces of the puzzle together, Cabral said, if that makes sense. And I can almost guarantee Jersey fans will not be disappointed. So just hang tight. I promise you Jersey will deliver, Cabral, 40 years old, said to Page Six. While she wouldn't divulge an exact season premiere date, she did say, quote, I think it's going to happen a lot faster than what you think. And I really hope to God it's back to the good old days. Christmas, Halloween, the holidays. So hang tight. Wait a little longer. I promise. She goes on to say. They also asked her if she would be a part of it. She remained very coy. She said, you're just going to have to wait and see, but she said, smiling and kind of looking away, you'll be very happy, she says, with how Jersey turns out. I think they're gonna really get it right this time. It's a fresh start. All right, so who is on the cast? Well, an insider now says that there is actually a chance that Teresa could return. We've heard she's not returning, and we're hearing, even from this insider, that they filmed kind of a test pilot earlier this summer with a lot of the girls, Melissa Gorga, Marge the Sarge, Joe Gorga, Dolores, no Teresa in sight. So they did want to test that with some potential newbies to see if it would work. However, there is a chance that Teresa, Jackie Goldschneider, and Jen Fessler could still be in consideration, according to this source that apparently is close to either Bravo or the show. Margaret Joseph and Dolores, we know, have made cryptic posts seemingly hinting that they are returning to the show, and fans have reacted like they think they're back. I mean, I cannot believe they're bringing Margaret Josephs back. I can't. What storyline do we have left? Melissa and Joe Gorga, I enjoy. I do. I like them in the mix. For now, they say that Bravo is likely moving on without Teresa, but some of the Housewives of New Jersey cast test filmed earlier this summer, according to a source for Us Weekly. There are potential new cast members who filmed with Margaret, Dolores, Melissa in mid-August. They want to see how those girls could potentially work with a veteran cast. And, hey, this is good news for podcasters. One of them is Michelle Barone, who's a potential newbie. Now, Michelle has a podcast. You might have seen like Patrick and Paul on there, does some Bravo stuff. And in real life, this is what's interesting though. She is actually friends and friendly with Teresa and Jackie. Though Teresa, Jen Fessler, and Jackie didn't test in mid-August, the source claims they are still in consideration to be part of the new season. No official casting decisions have been made, supposedly, despite Danielle Cabral's red carpet appearance. Well, of course. I mean, like Danielle Cabral has like the inside scoop on, she knows some, probably because obviously, clearly she's done this test film, but does she know like a release date? Does she know the be all end all, the final? Like, no, of course not. Teresa, Jen, Jackie, as I mentioned, did not test, but there's no official casting. Meanwhile, Margaret Josephs continues to tease and speculate that she is returning to the show. Dolores, too, recently wore a sweatshirt on her social media that said, "Welcome back, scumbag." Do we think that? I don't think Dolores is a scumbag. I like Dolores as well. So again, what does Cabral know that we don't? Like, I don't think she knows that much. She obviously knows that she tested, she tested for it 100%, and we'll see what happens. But I'm anxious. I want to see Jersey back. Salt Lake is coming back. I'm so excited about Salt Lake returning. Potomac, I mean, the trailer looks good for the pay. I'll get into this with David Yontif, of course, later this week, but Karen Huger, I already said this last week on the show, has learned nothing, like zilch, zero. Gets out of jail within hours, getting her makeup done, doing like a photo shoot, coming out of like a restaurant in Bethesda. Like, okay. Like, bitch, you had 4 DUIs. You could have killed somebody. The most foolish video that is out there. I feel a rant coming later this week. Anyhow, who would you like to see? Are you big Jersey fans? Would you like to see? Maybe they move on from Teresa now, but I feel like somehow we got to have Trey back in the mix somewhere. She's got the biggest fan base. Who else are we going to have? All right, before we move on to, have you ever had anybody in your life that said, I'm so hot, I can't get a job? Well, I got a woman that's going viral. She's apparently so gorgeous, she can't get a job. And then we'll also talk about Publishers Clearinghouse. I'm sorry, like what nonstop when I was early aughts watching Howard Stern on E late at night. Publishers Clearinghouse, baby. I mean, I almost thought about playing, but then I was like, who does this? Like people that are 100 years old, gone bankrupt. If your great aunt won $120,000 a year for the rest of her life, not anymore. All right, before I do that, you all know I have a podcast course. GoBigPodcasting.com is the website. 3 levels of courses, okay? Shout out to my friend, Dr. Shelby, who just purchased the podcast course. Love her. I have so many of you in my DMs that have purchased Podcasting 101, Podcasting for Pros. Podcasting for Pros is such a great place for you to start, by the way, because that shows you how to literally plug in a microphone, post your podcast episode, where you should be distributing it, and how you can begin to monetize and grow it. It's such a great groundwork for you, and less than $200 when you use the promo code SummerFun15, right around that $200 mark, I should say. And then, of course, if you want the complete roadmap, you can go and get my 6-figure master plan course. That is normally $900, but you're getting 15% off with Summer Fun 15. So gobigpodcasting.com. Podcasting isn't slowing down. It's just a matter of, are you going to launch in the dark, or are you going to launch with a flashlight, with the treasure map? Are you going to know how to get thousands of listeners to your show, attract a new audience, and start making money if that is your goal? Or maybe you have another business and you want to attract more clients. I love my girl, Betsy Helmuth, who's a client of mine. She has a design business in Connecticut, home design. She also teaches people how to design, and her podcast has been the biggest catalyst for people taking her courses and getting certified so they too can become interior decorators. GoBigPodcasting.com. Use the code SummerFun15. And if you have any questions, you can ask right there in the website. My team, we always get back if there's any questions, thoughts, concerns. So love you guys. Love to hear your feedback too once you've purchased the course. If you're stuck anywhere, we are here to help. So there's many mechanisms in place once you purchase a course to also get in touch with us and get some other help. Okay. I love these stories. When we were on the radio, when I was on the radio for years in DC, Hot 99.5 and DC's 107.3, every, I don't know, at least a couple times a year, there would always be women, mostly women, who basically were like, I'm too hot to get hired anywhere. I can't get hired anywhere. I'm so gorgeous. My coworkers do nothing but sexualize me. Nobody wants to hire me because I'm just too hot. They were always the best. And then we were like, send us your picture, girl. Like, let's see what you look like. And for the most part, they're attractive, but it's not like they're like... This isn't Giselle Bundchen walking into the room and you're like, oh my God. I mean, Angelina Jolie, Cindy Crawford back in the day when you're like, oh shit, like what am I going to do about this? Christy Brinkley. Okay. The most part, they're like good looking, they have a huge rack, but they're not like, it's not like, okay, this is it. But the latest one, who unfortunately is getting absolutely destroyed online, but you have to know this is going to happen, says that she's applied for 50 jobs and has failed to gain one employment. Allie Gaucha, 21, has been pounding the pavement, she says, looking for a role as a nanny after finishing up a childcare course 3 years ago. But she says, because of her curves, she's got a booty, she's got hot boobies. She said she can't get it. She also says that she goes in confident, presents her certifications, talks about everything that she learns, but doesn't matter. She cannot get hired. She's Brazilian. And she says that the women are intimidated by her. Okay, number one, this actually could be true. So I talked so much shit leading up to this story. And now I'm like, you know what? She made a point. Because are you really going to hire a hot nanny? Although, to be honest, poor Maria Shriver, she hired the ugliest housekeeper you could find. And Arnold Schwarzenegger cheated on her. So it doesn't matter. Okay, but for the most part, do you want a hot nanny in the house? Probably not. So maybe you're in the wrong field, chick. Gaucho's good looks may be particularly problematic in the nannying industry, no kidding, where weary women are reluctant to hire a hot nanny to be around their husbands, especially late at night if they have work commitments or they're out with their girlfriends. But Gaucho says she's not giving up. She says, I want to show my professional side. I'm hoping that people will see past how gorgeous and good looking I am. Who even says that? And quote, she says, my pretty privilege. I'm hoping people will look beyond my pretty privilege because I love working with children and giving back. Okay, first of all, this chick just has like a banging body. Um, she is also posting pictures online on her Instagram. Well, this isn't going to help. She says that in the meantime, while she continues to look for some sort of nannying job, she's not letting her body go to waste. She's got a social media following that's exploding. And now she says that she's making money as a content creator, which she says is fulfilling, but wasn't her original plan. Well, stick with that because there's no way. Okay, fair enough. You know what? You're not getting hired as a nanny. It's not happening. Do I think that you could like work in what industry? IT's been like replaced by AI. I don't know. Like who's hiring? I mean, I don't see her working at like a Toyota manufacturing company. I don't know. What are people doing for jobs these days? I don't know. What. I mean, if she was your lawyer, that would be something else too. Like a hot body, but I mean, just like fine face. You got to get into something else. So you're not the most gorgeous thing. Anyway, there you have it. So have you ever had anybody in your life so hot they couldn't get a job? These are my favorite ones. I couldn't love it more. Oh, all right. Another one of my favorite stories that comes out of nowhere. Talk about a throwback. Publishers Clearinghouse. You're like, Sarah, what? What the actual F? Publishers Clearinghouse has declared bankruptcy, and now dozens of prize winners who thought that they had won a jackpot from Publishers Clearinghouse, they thought their dreams had come true for years. Some of them have been receiving checks for 10, 15, 20 years. It's over. The jackpot and lottery system, Publishers Clearinghouse, declared bankruptcy this spring. And basically, a bankruptcy lawyer says if you or someone you know had won these, like, you're going to get a prize for the rest of your life. You're going to get a check at the beginning of the year. Remember, they used to like roll up to your house in like a van. They'd come out with the sign. They'd knock on your door. You'd be totally surprised. Well, they're not going to be paid anymore. It's over. So now published winners have come out of the woodwork from Oregon to Maine, basically saying, what am I going to do? One guy says that he's 61 years old. He hasn't worked in years because he won a total of $240,000 every year. He says for the last 15 years, Publishers Clearinghouse deposited a check in January, and he's been living large. He bought a home near his family. Now he says that he's having to sell everything as this past January, for the very first time in years, the cash never was deposited. I've sold my jet ski. I sold my trailer. I had a little bit of money left over, and that's what I'm living on right now. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose my home. Shit. Some Forever Prize winners say that they're also dealing with the emotional toll of hitting a jackpot and then having it taken away. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I would be so fucking pissed. There's nothing you could do. They say now, basically, if you're a lottery winner and the lottery goes bankrupt, you're just like now a creditor. So you can put a claim in, but good luck. There's not going to be nearly enough money to go around. There's not going to be $240,000 a year for the rest of this guy's life to go around. Wow. This came without warning. This came without warning. At the end of an era, really. What a throwback. I mean, this is sad, though. A disabled Army vet who had won now is reshuffling the family budget. They have 3 kids, a mortgage. They thought that they had won 120 grand for life. Not going to happen anymore. People apparently are losing their homes. The only people that turned out okay are basically if you won Publishers Clearinghouse and you took a lump sum, which was a lot, that was the option. But of course, it was like higher tax. So a lot of people chose not to do it because they just thought Publishers Clearinghouse has been around for 30 something years. Clearly, I mean, they must be like somehow making money, right? It's not funny. It's not funny. I have a sick sense of humor since I'm pregnant. I'll tell you what. I really do. It's not funny. It's just like, it's just such an old school. I'm like, when I saw this, I'm like, Publishers Clearinghouse is still around? Not exactly, but for a lot of people, they were like counting on that shit. Dang. Dang, dang, dang. Okay, well, there you go. So if you know someone, it's over. You're not going to be you're not going to be getting the money. One of the last stories too is, have you ever dated a guy who says that he just prefers women with like a big rack, like it's just into women with big chests? Well, there's good news, like, or like in my case, okay. I mean, I've never found. I mean, I've been dumped by basically everyone but Schman, you know. And then if people remember from the radio, I dated a guy named Old Man Ed, who was like a finance advisor, really nice. I had to dump him. He was just too old for me. But minus that, like everyone in between, I have been dumped, right? And I have a completely small chest. Like there's no man. I win men over by my personality, and I'm like, okay, you know, like I'm good enough looking. I'm not like the hottest thing you've ever seen. You know, when I get canceled on the internet, people often describe my body as looking like a breadstick. So it's not like I'm this like gorgeous thing, right? But I win men. I do all right. I pull all right because I have a good personality. But never anybody has been like, oh, I'm with you for your tits. Like, I don't have huge tits. I'm thinking maybe after this next baby, I'll get like a breast lift because by that time they really will be, you know, down to my knees. But this kind of makes me happy because men who prefer women with large boobs tend to be less financially secure. Oh, it's karma. A study conducted in the UK has made an unexpected discovery. Men who are financially insecure tend to be more attracted to women with large boobs. What's the connection? Subconscious associations with resource availability and nurturing. Research speculates that this preference may stem from evolutionary psychology, where large boobed women are perceived as an indicator of health or fertility. But financial pressures seem to reinforce this instinct in modern settings. This discovery isn't meant to shame anyone, but it does highlight that our preferences aren't always as random and individual as we think. Sometimes what we reach for is shaped by deeper psychological factors and survival cues. FYI. So, you know what? If you're a flat-chested chick like I am, there's some justice for you today. Or if you are well endowed, like lucky you as a woman, just be on the lookout because these men, it's like a psychological mother and nurturing feeling, and they feel like you're more fertile, more abundant in cash, and they are lacking in the finance department. So be forewarned. Do we even talk about Britney Spears? Where are you all at with Britney Spears? You know, I said years ago, Free Britney was the worst fucking idea, and we ought to hold people accountable. The women, I think they were podcasters like 8 years ago that came up with Free Britney, really should be tried. How's that for a hot take? What could they be tried for? Meddling where they shouldn't have meddled. I don't know. You know, there's two thoughts here: that basically Britney Spears is freed from her father and the conservatorship, and you know what? It's her money to lose. Because basically she's trending all this past week for putting up a video where there's dog shit in the background. All her videos are insane now. I mean, I think we can all agree. She's had to turn the comments on because people are just like, you need help, you need help. 8 years ago, they were like, blink twice if you need to be freed. They all thought she needed to be freed. She was freed. Read her memoir. It was good. It was not great. And so anyhow, she now, people are even more concerned as she continues to, you know, sometimes half naked. The dressing is bizarre, but also there's dog crap in the background. They're worried as she lives in a messy mansion covered in dog poop, sparse with furniture. And a lot of people now believe she'll go broke. Okay, what is better here? Like when her dad was in charge, he made her go on tour. She didn't want to do it anymore. She like went through the motions. That's awful in itself. But she like had money, right? She made like $65 million. Now the lawyers, the dad, they were all taking a cut. But she like, you know, she posted just normal stuff on social media. You didn't know much about her life. Now, Sam Ashgari, you know, they're divorced. And her friends are worried. A lot of people believe she'll go through all of her money. She still doesn't have much of a relationship with her kids. And Kevin Federline is coming out with his own book later this year, like this fall, about the marriage and raising the kids as a single dad, basically. Well, now fans fear she's going through a new mental health battle as the mansion looks messy. The dog poop is in the background. The bikinis seem to be getting smaller and the dance is more erratic. Those close to her have seen this over and over again, and though it's monitored, they aren't going to make any type of intervention, a source says. Another person from the Spears family said they are, quote, worried, but the Grammy winner about her, adding that she is not doing well at all, and her friends and relatives are terrified for the future. Her house is a mess, according to a family member who did not want to be identified. She doesn't clean up after the dogs. Oh, can you imagine? I just feel like her house smells so bad. She doesn't have someone there cleaning every day, and she just isn't functioning like an adult would function at all, they added. Page Six has reached out to Spears' rep for a comment, but no immediate response. The womanizer singer is now 43 years old, continues to spark concern from fans. She lives in Thousand Oaks, California. Maybe I ought to ride out. See if I can offer any help. I don't know if I could go in the house. Oh my God. The piss, the dog piss and shit. I don't even think I could handle it. Ugh. She made millions from her book. But how is that story going to end? And now I'm like, I said from the start, Free Britney was never a good idea. The devil you know is better than the devil you don't. It's like, I just feel like she's going to have such a tragic end. Maybe not, but I just feel like, unfortunately, she was so, I think mental health issues ran in the family anyway. She discloses that in her book. And then I think being just thrown out there with so much fame and disposed of from the ages of 14 on, I don't know that you could save that. All right, well, on that note, that's what you need to know about pop culture. All right, full slate of shows. Tomorrow is Welcome to Plathville, season 7, episode 8. It's the rehearsal dinner. Not even the rehearsal dinner, the rehearsal for Lydia and Zach's wedding. And it's bananas. It's bananas. I get the previews, the screeners. I've watched. I got a recap ready for you, and it's insanity. That's tomorrow. Thursday's David Yontif. Friday is a recap of Christine Brown Woolley's epic novel. Saturday, David returns for Bravo T, and Sunday is a best of here at TSFS. Subscribe to the pod. Never miss a thing. Bye, everybody.